I'm going to throw this in the course, is the principles of a scalable speaker, right? So, we've done a lot of work, as I've kind of explained to all of you guys, um, around really getting clear on our messaging, clear on our offerings. I know I keep showing that drawing that I'm super proud of, and the systems and processes and the data and team. And really this program that we're all working together in, that you guys are here, really calling the scalable speaker. And I wanted to kind of break down the principles of a scalable speaker. And because here's why, I think whenever I invest in something, whenever I'm working with a coach, a program, and whenever I'm trying to learn something new, even like how to build out this media system, I'm always trying to understand the principles and like the core tenets, right? Like what I learned early on in working with coaches is like, if you can teach me how to think about something, if you can teach me how your thought process is working and your mental models are working for solving a problem, the values, the core tenets, whatever you want to call it, the principles, then that is more valuable than like tactics or like, oh, go to Google and do that. Like, okay, cool. But if I can understand principles, tenets, values, that's going to be a lot more valuable to me, because that then allows me to use those to then use my mental models going forward when I run into problems, when I run into obstacles. And I can come back to my principles, my values, my tenets, right? And so I've been thinking a lot about, our different offerings, the different, speakers that we serve, and like many of you all who come in here, different messages, different audiences, but there's really principles and core tenets, I believe, to becoming a scalable speaker. And let's actually back up and define like a scalable speaker. Your kind of goal and our goal here is to put you guys on a track to grow, to put you on a track to hit six figures, 150K, 200K a year, in your speaking businesses. That is our goal, right? To give you the principles, to give you the foundations of the marketing, the lead gen, the sales, the fulfillment, the team and scaling engines, those core foundational pieces that you need to get to 100, 150, 200K a year, and do it in a scalable manner, right? So that you don't come to us, and some of our clients who do come to us who are doing that, but they have no systems, they have no processes, they don't even know how they, got there 250K plus. And then we have to go back and build the systems, right? So our goal is to help you become a scalable speaker. And a scalable speaker is, again, if I'm kind of defining it, 100, 150, 200K a year, and doing that amount, doing those number of gigs in a manner that is scalable, right? So their systems are in place, the tools are in place that they can then scale upon that. You have a solid foundation that is there, and I think I have one of that. Where's the builds an internal sturdy business on solid foundations, see proven systems and processes, and doesn't look for nor rely on done for you slash agencies and or heroes, right? So that is really the goal of this program, is to give you guys, and some of you have, some solid foundations in place, but to really solidify the systems, the processes, the foundations in those different engines, so that you can get to 100, 150, 200K a year, probably solely on your own, maybe with a small team, and that you're prepared to, if you desire to, scale beyond that, right? So a scalable speaker, not a scaling speaker, a scalable speaker, a speaker that is prepared and prepped to scale, which is a whole other conversation. So let's break down some of the tenets and principles, I believe, of a scalable speaker, right? One is service, and I'm just going to go through these, and then what I'm going to do is like, I'll kind of explain a little bit about each of them, or I'll just say them and kind of go. So one is service and value centered. I think that's really important. I think all of us as speakers, is as much as we want to make money, we want to support our family as speakers, like at the end of the day, we're service and value centered. Each of you in your own unique ways. And I know Coach Kristen knows, and countless conversations with you guys, Allie knows, on sales calls, on coaching calls, you are all service and value centered. You got into speaking, and you want to get on more stages because you want to make more money, of course, but you also have a message that you want to provide value. You want to be in service to different audiences, right? Number two is systems and processes oriented in everything they do, right? And this is something I think it's our job to continue instilling you: systems, processes, systems, processes. So systems and processes in everything they do. That's how you become a speaker that's ready to scale, is your systems and processes oriented in everything you do. Three, iterates a process until it's optimized, then outsources and scales. I like this one a lot. Iterates a process until it is optimized, then outsources and scales. And I think this is like perfect conversation, the media system that I showed you. that is a process that I need to keep iterating on until I feel comfortable that it's optimized and that it can be run. Once it's optimized and I have clarity on here's how this works, this goes to this goes to this, and I have that media system aspect of my marketing engine optimized from a process perspective, then I can start to outsource it to my marketing manager, to my editor, that kind of stuff, and we can start to scale it, right? So iterate, and that goes for all your processes. Like iterate your process until it's optimized, then outsources and scales it, right? Number four, does outreach relentlessly and doesn't wait for opportunities to come to him or her. Does outreach relentlessly and doesn't wait for opportunities to come to him or her. Five, posts slash markets and gets their message out to the world ruthlessly. Posts and markets themselves and gets their message out to the world ruthlessly. Six, I like this one a lot, is okay with lower paying deals within reason because he slash she as a speaker sees value beyond just money, especially in the early days. So I think this is really important. We really try to stay away from clients who are like, yeah, I'm a 20K speaker and I won't accept anything less than 20K. It's like, great, that might work for you, but I don't think you're a best fit for us, right? We want you guys to get paid what you're worth. At the same time, and I think Coach Christine could speak to this all day, if you have a good plan and you come back to being service and value centered and you approach coming down from your fee of 10K to a 6K deal because it's the right opportunity and you have a plan in place to maximize that opportunity, then we'll take lower paying deals all day. I have a high fee speaker we work with. He's honestly one of the nation's top speakers. And he talked about we were running a deal and it was lower. It was like 10 to 15K. He's usually like 25, 30K. But it was the right opportunity. He was like, look, man, I don't usually do this, but he's like, when I do, I just call them base hits. Like it's just a base hit. We'll take that all day. He's like 10K, 15K, and change that to where you guys are at. If your fee's 15, coming out, it's a base hit, right? We take the base hits, we take the base hits, we take the base hits because that'll come back to you. And Coach Kristen has countless stories of this. I have countless stories of when I took a lower paying deal, there was someone in the audience and it led to something else, right? Or whatever it is, or I got a testimonial, I got a referral, whatever it is. Seven, I kind of already said, internal sturdy business on solid foundations. This is really important, not looking for or relying on done for you or agencies or bureaus. Take things into your own hand. We have a sturdy business. When that stuff comes, it's great, but we have a sturdy business already. Is coachable and open to learning. This is so, so important. And this is something, again, I've really had to lean into recently is like, was going out of the loan for a while, hadn't invested in a coach in a while. Timing was right, invested into coaching, and like it's been one of the best investments over the past month and that I've had. And part of it is because I like to think I'm pretty coachable. I ask really good questions. I always have a stack of questions that I need to be asking and learning so that I can get to the next level. And it's paid off already incredibly fast. Implements fast and fiercely. Done is better than perfect. I think this is so, so important, guys. Done is better than perfect. One of the things I really think has allowed me to be somewhat successful at a young age inside a business is that, to my fault sometimes, I execute and implement really fast. And I don't care if a post has 3 typos in it. Like if I have an idea and I want to get a post out, it's getting out. Done is better than perfect. And I think it's better to get something done. And look, there's a time and place to slow down and to be thoughtful about things. If I'm sending an email to one of our top clients, like I'm going to slow down. But a lot of things in business, you just need to go. You just need to make the calls, do the emails. If there's a typo, it doesn't matter. Just implement fast, implement fiercely, because done is better than perfect. Perfect. A couple like greater thans here: gratitude over entitlement. I think that's really important. Gratitude, being grateful for everything over feeling like you're owed something. Abundance over scarcity. So, so important, knowing that the world's abundance. If you miss an opportunity, that's fine. There's enough to go around for everyone. Abundance or scarcity in terms of investing back to the business. This is something I've had to do. It's like, hey, don't get scared because your overhead's going up. Stay abundant because you know that there's more opportunity than deals out there for you and you're going to be fine. So abundance or scarcity. And I know Coach Mike and I talked about that on the call. Data and facts over emotions. Data and facts over emotions. So I feel like this isn't working. I feel like, I'm doing all this work and I don't know, I'm just getting frustrated. Okay, let's look at the data, right? I've had a lot of clients who's, it's not working. Doing the outreach, it's not working. How many messages you send? Well, I send like 10 a week. It's like, damn, what are we doing? Data and facts over emotions. takes complete ownership of every aspect of his or her business and life. I think this is incredibly, incredibly important, and we'll go into 15 here in a moment. Uh, the more that I build and grow team, if something happens inside my business that's off or that we're not proud of or whatever, if there is something that's wrong. And Gary Vaynerchuk actually said this on a podcast. He's like, I truly believe every single thing inside of my business is my fault. And I think that's really, it's kind of a tenet of leadership, but taking complete and utter ownership over everything. If you don't like your relationship, you don't like your team, and you don't like something, anything, your health, anything, like there is one person, there's a common denominator to everything. Any problem in your life, and that common denominator is you. And it's the same thing for your business. So complete ownership of every aspect of life and business, has a long-term vision and mindset, and infinite trust in the process. Um, this is so, so important, especially for those of you who are kind of like newer or starting out your journeys or like kind of just getting things off the ground. Is like those early days are important, and they should be. You're building something in a lot of cases from nothing. And it's a total grind to get things up and rolling off the ground. And oftentimes when we have big dreams and big visions, and then we look back to kind of where we're at, and we're like, we feel so far from it, it can be discouraging. But having, and also like, I say all the time, he's like, firing up a speaking business is usually not something that happens. It takes some time to really scale up for a lot of folks. And so having that long-term mindset and vision and coming back to being service and value centered, I think is so important. And then finally, number 15, I love this one, is a business owner and entrepreneur that doesn't complain because he/she willingly elected to enter the most ruthless and competitive game in the world. And I think this is so, so important. This was something that my first coach used to say to us on coaching calls. He was like, look, and anytime like any of us, it's difficult. He would just be like, look, it kind of comes back to data and facts over emotions. But he's like, look, like you really entered, and I remind myself this all the time. Stuff gets hard, stuff slow, whatever. It's like, dude, you're in business, like, yes, we're online. Stuff has gotten easier because of online and social media, but you're still in business, and like you're competing with, it's just such a competitive landscape in whatever aspect of business you're in, speaking. Um, but it's like, see, Sean, understand and just remember that we stepped into being civilians. We stepped into being business owners. We stepped into being entrepreneurs. It's a ruthless, it's a competitive landscape. Abundance, there's more than enough opportunity to go around everyone, but it's like stuff's slow sometimes, and it's hard. It is difficult. It's not, getting up and just going to a job and your paycheck's coming in. I mean, that life's hard too, right? But it's kind of choose your hard, and part of choosing your hard as a business owner is a lot of the ups and downs and different things that come from it. So that's all I have, guys, for today. There's little principles. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I will be posting this in the in the course. It'll be in like the welcome section of the course. I'm going to post it as kind of part of the welcome videos for all new clients to watch. Does anyone have any questions, anything they want to add to that, or just anything in specific that stood out to them?